Welcome to the wrap-up. I'm your host, Angelina Willis, and I just finished an insane story covering the IU Baroque Orchestra and the state program cuts happening on IU's campus. Joining me to talk about this is Catherine, the creator of our InDesign spread, and Tatum, who actually created our video and interviewed the Baroque Orchestra's director, Ingrid Matthews. Tatum, I actually want to talk to you first about the process of interviewing Ingrid. Can you tell me about that?
Ingrid was so easy to talk to. She had a lot of intelligent answers to all of my questions. Throughout this process, I learned the importance of organization in interviewing Ingrid. I tried to ask her questions in an organized way that created a connection with her and I and built our story. I also learned about the process of forming our story. This was challenging because sometimes it's hard to find where the story lies, but it's important to remember that everyone has a story. You just have to find it. I felt like the most challenging part of this process was being patient with the process as a whole. Waiting for a response, understanding how to use Premiere Pro definitely takes patience, and it definitely tested me during this process. I think that staying calm and looking back on our past materials in this class helped me to overcome these challenges.
Thank you, Tatum. Catherine, how was the creative process of making the InDesign spread? What did you take away from that overall?
The most challenging part for me that I found was it required a lot of patience and precision. I had to make sure that I was lining up the text and making sure every element looked uniform. I spent a lot of time layering the photos and experimenting with placement to find a balance that looked visually appealing but also told the story clearly. Overall, it was just very tedious work, but in the end I realized how much attention to detail that really goes into the small design choices. Throughout this project, I feel like I gained a new appreciation for everything that actually goes into completing a journalism story. I didn't realize how many behind-the-scenes steps there were, from planning the interview to capturing B-roll and asking questions. There's just a lot more that goes into it than what I knew. It's a much more complex process, and it gave me a deeper respect for journalists who do this every day because it is a lot of work. Angelina, what was the most challenging part when creating the WordPress? Was there anything that was more challenging than you expected?
Yeah, so it was a massive undertaking, like doing the research about this story in general. I wouldn't say creating the WordPress post was the hardest. It was actually developing the story. I wanted to really listen to the people who had been affected by these changes, and that was really eye-opening. The hardest thing about the whole process was just making sure that everything that I did was very thought out and intentional, and I really wanted to make sure that I got all of the facts right about this matter, and it's just so important to so many students. I just wanted to make sure that I did it justice. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week, and we'll see you all again soon.